What's going on, everyone? Jeremy here from the Quartering, and there's been an interesting surge in fake news around Carmelo Anthony as the family desperately attempts to paint him as, the sympathetic figure in all of this. They want to get the trial moved, I believe, to a more friendly area to their client. But right now, everything seems a little pretty suspicious. There's a video going around making the rounds, many videos making the rounds yesterday of somebody apparently in a mega hat showing up at the judge's house and trying to kick in their door and all sorts of wild other stuff. Meanwhile, Jeff Metcalf, the guy that everybody basically is mad at, continues to get swatted and continues to deal with, being clearly a unwilling participant in a larger conversation that, well, people want to have with or without him. There's a video making the rounds on TikTok, a video that purportedly shows Collin County Judge Angela Tucker's Ring doorbell camera showing a large black man wearing a brand new MAGA hat aggressively kicking her front door. The judge, who has run unopposed as a Republican, is a proponent of DEI and restorative justice, gave the admitted stabber home release until trial and an unnamed teenager in the heart. Well, we know that teenager's name is, of course, Austin Metcalf. But this video is making the rounds like crazy. You can see here, it's a Ring doorbell camera that also apparently auto zooms. This must be mega country, I imagine. I mean, it's not like totally uncommon, in particular in Texas, to see a black guy wearing a MAGA hat. But here you have a brand new one, there's no audio here, trying to kick the door in. Can't do it, weak, fat, out of shape. But it turns out, now this video is all over TikTok. As it turns out, this video is actually a 5-year-old video that didn't happen in Texas, but happened in Charlotte, North Carolina. If you're a TikTok creator or something like that, if you use TikTok, you certainly have seen this video flying all over the internet, completely unchecked. You see a lot of people. I feel bad now. I ran every corner of X debunking this 1 hour after you did because I didn't see replies. You'd see here, hate hoax. While Collin County is mega country, it seems weird that a black man in a brand new MAGA hat would try to kick in the front door of the judge of Carmelo Anthony's case. This video is making the rounds on TikTok and here on X. I have a feeling it's a double hoax, i.e. the guy is not a MAGA supporter, nor is this the home of the judge, but who knows? We now know this is, of course, not the home, not the judge. There's all sorts of people spreading rumors about Austin Metcalf's dad and whether or not he was arrested for this or that. It's all very weird. I think it's an op run by his defense team, his defense lawyers, to try and muddy the waters and try and get some level of sympathy going for their client. You see this? Can you believe it? His son passed away and they're continually attacking them. This was 13 hours ago. My house was just swatted again. This ish is crazy. I went to try and confirm this actual Facebook post because I want to be sure. I want to get better. I want to do better for my viewers to, debunk stuff in real time as opposed to wait for another video to update and talk about, something that needed to be debunked. I could not find his profile. I assume it's private. I did find dozens of fake Jeff Metcalf Facebook profiles with this exact same picture on it. So people are clearly trying to capitalize on this and pretend it's him and all sorts of stuff like that. Again, you see, Karmelo was supposedly moved to a private location for his own, quote, safety, even though Frisco PD have stated that they received absolutely zero reports of any kind of threats on his life. Meanwhile, the father of the son the father whose son is no longer with us, was swatted again for a second time. Now, again, I'm hoping that law enforcement gets significantly better at dealing with, swatting and things like this. As somebody who's had it happen to them a couple dozen times, it's dumb. It's, the people that are doing this are trying to get your life taken by an overzealous cop. The person that did to me got a 10-year federal prison sentence, so I hope he doesn't drop the soap. In fact, I actually hope he does. But this stuff that they're spreading out here, if you start to look now, if you start looking at like Carmelo Anthony stuff on Twitter, it's getting kind of spooky. Like there's some weird stuff coming out. There's a lot of fake news around Jeff Metcalf, his dad. You see this, why the usual race hustlers like Al Sharpton, Ben Crump, and BLM activists are staying away from the Carmelo Anthony case. This via Rob Smith.
All right, so this Carmelo Anthony thing is a total scam, and let me break it down for you from a politics and media perspective, exactly why this is a very low-level scamming. It's very low-level scamming. Number one, look at the person that's representing Carmelo Anthony. This person, whatever, the Dominique or something like that, this person is not an attorney. Apparently, he's a pastor. This is somebody that is acting as this kid's public representative. Now, if this was something that could really go the distance with the grift, there would be somebody like Al Sharpton around. There would be somebody like Ben Crump.
100% agree with Rob Smith here. The pro grifters know that there's not much here. I mean, there's obviously $500,000 to grift like they have on Give, Send, Go, but this is not George Floyd. This is not a large scale grift, so they won't bother with that. They're not going to bother. They're not going to roll out of bed for anything less than a couple million.
Around, there'd be somebody like Jesse Jackson around. There would be people that know how to get real bags off of the race hustle and the race grift. Since nobody like that is around Carmelo Anthony, and he's got these obviously very low-level people around him, that means that these people know something that we don't about what this case is really going to look like, so they don't want to get involved. Secondly,
huge point right there. They started passing around this story that it wasn't a knife, that it was a cleat sharpener, which is a tool. I've seen it used on like football fields, stuff like that. But that was another bit of fake news. There were people trying to say, oh, it was a pocket knife. I've seen people who are grifting on this say that 100% confidently that it was something to use to put the tent into the ground, even though this kid had nothing to do with raising the tents. Just blatantly false information said with 100% confidence. And I think he's right that the real grifters, the Al Sharptons, the BLMs, all these type of things, they know that this is a non-starter.
All of the media that's around this case is all local news media and social media based. There's nothing mainstream about it. There's no CBS. There's not even any CNN or MSNBC. Again, that leads me to believe that these executives and these producers have looked at this case and said, no, this is not something that we want to put our energy behind, and we cannot make this kid into some sort of like BLM hero.
What a great point, too. I don't watch CNN, but I certainly have been covering this case. So if they would be covering it nightly, I would have seen the clips. They too know that, they've done their investigation. They know this case is a non-starter. It's legitimately going to boil down to, young black youth makes, with poor impulse control, makes the mistake that many other black youths do. And it's a ho-hum thing. It happens every single day. There's no grift here. There's no, I can't breathe here. There's no, hands up, don't shoot. This is, most of those are all hoaxes too, but there's more money there. So they covered them. This case is going to end up being cut and dry. I have a strong feeling.
So it's all very low level. It's all very Mickey Mouse. And that leads me to believe that there's no real case here and they're running a grift.
That's what I 100% agree with it. Of course, this picture is making the rounds. This is Dominique Alexander, dude representing Carmelo Anthony and his family. He's a felon with a history of hitting babies and women. He also runs a fraudulent organization who has failed to submit mandatory IRS filings. again, I don't know why this Anthony family has let this dork become part of their family. And it's so weird that there's all these bots running all this kind of, cover for Karmelo. I still think it's very contrived and it's very transparent. And a lot of it just isn't the national case that a lot of people want it to be. And only now, by the way, about a month later, Austin Metcalf's donation fund has finally surpassed that of the one who took his life. It's a small but meaningful victory. Austin Metcalf's family has outraised the donation fund of the alleged person that took their son's life. Austin's GoFundMe, set up by his father, Jeff Metcalf, has raised over $512,000 to support the grieving family. The 17-year-old lost his life on April 2nd. Anthony, the 17-year-old accused, has raised $506,000 through his Give, Send, Go campaign. To put it bluntly, the staggering sum for the alleged criminal is a mockery and a disgrace. It's still insane and sad commentary on the state of our society that Anthony has raised $500,000. What kind of twisted morality supports this person? Well, I'll tell you, it's leftism. It's the same people that have raised $1 million for Luigi Mangione. It's the same people that have gave $300,000 to the Maryland man spouse. And it's crazy. So we have here $518,339 for Austin Metcalf. To me, I don't know why they set $1 million goal. I think $500,000 is plenty of money. Plus, the dad seems like I don't want to give him any more money. If they update this and they say that there's some kind of update that it's going to go towards a different kind of fund to support, to help other people or to do more good than my dollar directly will do, I'll look at it. But I don't see, again, I'd have to learn more before I gave him any money. And here we have Karmelo's at $507,000. By the way, a pathetic amount. Austin's account filled with well wishes and God blesses, while Karmelo's is filled with basically the white guy deserved it. Take this money. We got you. FBA. My third time giving, I will give every 2 weeks as if it's a bill for me. Praying for the Anthony family. What? Are these people, I don't even understand. Again, even this kid, $507,000, 99% of this is going to go to the grifters surrounding the whole case. There's going to be hardly anything left for his defense fund because he's not going to need a defense fund because this case is absolutely cut and dry. I will continue to follow this. I suspect the updates on this case will now kind of go dry for a little while until we get a kind of trial date and, and that kind of information. But make sure you leave a like on this video. If you haven't yet, please subscribe or follow down below so you get notified each and every time I upload, because otherwise it's hard enough to follow me anyway. I greatly appreciate all of your support, and we'll talk to you again real soon.